The Galactic Unity Academy's recreational dome fell silent as the low, rumbling growl echoed across the crystalline floor. 23 cadets from 17 different species stood frozen, their various appendages locked mid-motion, optical organs wide with primal fear. At the center of the dome, a Vraxian cub no larger than a Terran wolf pup had bared its triple rows of serrated teeth at Cadet Sarah Chen, who was crouched on the ground with a hoverball in her hand. Commander Thakal's forearms twitched toward his weapon. The Vraxians were apex predators from a death world where everything larger than a microbe had evolved to hunt. Their cubs, even at 3 months old, possessed bite force sufficient to crush Durasteel. Protocol demanded immediate intervention. One wrong move and the human would be... Sarah Chen growled back. The sound that emerged from her throat was guttural, aggressive, and utterly impossible. Humans weren't supposed to make sounds like that. They were Category 7 omnivores from a relatively peaceful world, known for their endurance and tool use, not predatory vocalizations. The Vraxian cub's ears flattened. Its eyes widened. Then Sarah laughed, a bright, delighted sound that shattered the tension like glass. She tossed the hoverball and the cub pounced after it with an excited chirp, its previous aggression forgotten entirely. "Good boy, Razor." "Who's a fierce little hunter?" "You are, yes you are," Sarah cooed, scratching behind the cub's auditory ridges as it returned with the ball clamped in its jaws. Commander Thakal's translator implant struggled with the bizarre mixture of predatory aggression and affectionate baby talk. Around the dome, cadets slowly began to breathe again. "Cadet Chen," Thakal's voice carried across the dome with forced calm. "Please report to my office immediately." 10 minutes later, Sarah stood before the commander's desk while he reviewed her file on a holographic display, his expression unreadable. "You are aware," he began slowly, "that Razor is the offspring of Ambassador Vraxthor, yes? One of the most dangerous diplomats in the quadrant?" "Yes, sir." "And you are aware that Vraxian cubs establish dominance through aggressive displays?" "Yes, sir." "Then please explain why you responded to a threat display with your own threat display, rather than following the 27 protocols designed to prevent interspecies incidents." Sarah shifted her weight. "With respect, sir, those protocols don't work with Vraxians. They're predators. They understand strength and hierarchy. If I'd backed down or called for help, Razor would have learned that humans are prey. But by growling back and standing my ground, I established that humans aren't afraid of them. We're peers." Thakal's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement or exasperation. "That is an extremely dangerous assumption, Cadet. You could have been seriously injured." "Could have been, sir. But I wasn't." Sarah's expression remained respectful but firm. "I grew up with dogs on Earth, big dogs. Working breeds. The principle is the same. Establish boundaries, show confidence, and they respect you. Show fear and they'll exploit it. Vraxians are not Terran canines. No, sir. They're more dangerous, more intelligent, and more socially complex. But the fundamental principle holds true. They're pack predators. They understand hierarchy." Before Thakal could respond, the door chimed. Ambassador Vraxthor entered, nearly 3 meters of scaled muscle and predatory grace. Most species instinctively retreated from a full-grown Vraxian. Sarah Chen stood her ground. "Commander," Vraxthor's voice was a deep rumble, "I came to apologize for my offspring's behavior and to ensure your cadet was unharmed." "She is unharmed, Ambassador. We were just discussing... I watched the security footage." Vraxthor's lips pulled back, revealing rows of teeth that could bisect a human torso. On any other species, it would have been a threat display. On a Vraxian, Sarah recognized it as a smile. Remarkable. In 3 months at this academy, 17 species have interacted with Razor. All followed your protocols. All treated him like a bomb waiting to explode. Do you know what that teaches a young Vraxian? That other species fear him? Sarah offered quietly. Precisely. Vraxthor's massive head swung toward her. You are the first to treat him as an equal. The first to challenge him. The first to play with him as another predator would. Do you understand the significance? I think so, Ambassador. When Razor reaches maturity, he will remember the species that cowered and the species that growled back. He will remember which species treated him as a thinking being rather than a monster. Vraxthor turned to Thakal. Humans are stranger than we believed, Commander. We assumed they reached their position through endurance and persistence alone. But this one, he gestured towards Sarah. She has the heart of a hunter. I'm really not that special, Ambassador, Sarah protested. Any human who grew up with animals would have done the same thing. Any human? Fraxthor's tone was skeptical. Well, most humans. We're pack animals too, sir. We understand loyalty, hierarchy, and play. We've been living alongside other predators for thousands of years. Wolves, big cats, bears. We learn to read them, communicate with them, even befriend them. It's not magic. It's just experience. The Khal's translator made a sound suspiciously like a sigh. Let me understand this correctly. Humans, Category 7 omnivores from a Class 3 world regularly cohabitate with apex predators. We call them pets, sir. Pets, the Khal repeated flatly. Some of them, yes. Others we call wildlife, and we observe them, study them, sometimes help conserve them. We're fascinated by predators. Always have been. Fraxthor's laugh was a sound like thunder rolling across mountains. The galaxy fears us, little human. But your species befriends creatures like us for entertainment. Not just entertainment, Ambassador. Companionship, protection, mutual respect. My family's German Shepherd was my best friend growing up. She would have died to protect me, and I would have done the same for her. Extraordinary, Fraxthor murmured. Commander, I request that Cadet Chen be assigned as Razor's primary handler during our stay. Ambassador, I'm not sure that's... It is decided. My offspring needs to learn what strength truly means, and this human can teach him. Fraxthor's eyes fixed on Sarah. You will continue to treat him as an equal, yes? No coddling. No fear, Sarah grinned. Absolutely, Ambassador. Though I might teach him fetch. And maybe roll over. The sound Fraxthor made might have been horror or laughter. With Vraxians, it was sometimes hard to tell. As Sarah left the office, she could hear Thakal muttering about updating the Academy's protocols. Again. Behind her, a small Vraxian cub waited at the dome entrance. Hoverball in mouth, tail wagging with anticipation. Sarah growled playfully. Razor growled back. And somewhere in the vast, complicated galaxy, two predator species found common ground in the simple joy of play.